Hey guys, Katsuma Gaming here. In the last few parts, we already talked about pretty much all the banners and units that are coming in 2023. So there's just one more thing I really want to talk about. And this is system changes. So everything that will change in this year and what impact it has on the game. First, we already got charts or potentials, however you want to call it. I already made a guide about which units and stuff you should focus on. Again, you now have all the units that should come in 2023, so you can also just go through this list and think up for yourself which unit you want to pull on, and then which element you might want to boost next and something like that. I think I already included everything for 2023 in my list on my guide, so I recommend going with that. But if you want to do something different, that's completely fine. It's up to you. You can do that. But check it out if you haven't. It's, I think, really good. Same with elemental weapons. They are here as well. There's also a video and a tier list about everything. I actually want to make another tier list at one point in the future where I'm ranked like every weapon per element. I think it's the right thing to say. So like, which on wind weapon should you craft first, and maybe actually include how many of them you should, craft and make. I think that could be like really good. Can I see my crafted weapons here? I don't think so. Let me just go to the smith real quick. Just to show you that I don't like say something weird. These are the weapons I have crafted, for example. For swords, I have one light sword for Iris, one wind sword for Kazuma, one lightning sword for Misaka, and now one fire sword for Iris. Dagger, double water, double dark, double fire, one wind for Fast Chris, and one earth for Onsen Melissa. Healing staff, I have pretty much max per element. As you can see, I don't have a dark one. I have a fire one, but I haven't really used it much. Water for Fes Aqua. Cecily don't use it. Light for the Cielo that I showed. Wind for Fes Cielo. Dark for, in theory, Onsen Cielo. But I haven't used her much. I just crafted it because I thought I might use the team, but I didn't at the end. And Lightning for Snow Cecily. Mage rods. I currently have 3 dark rods because dark actually needs a lot. 2 light for Yun Yun and Aure. 2 wind for Vandir and Wiz at one point. 2 earth for Vanir and Yun Yun. 3 lightning for, I don't know. I think the one arena where it was actually like Fiskok, so we run Rin, Yun Yun, and Theater Vanir. 3 water for the last water arena with the Mushoku Tensei collab. So Roxy, Yun Yun, and I forgot what was the first one. We ran Cecily, but like I think it was for slot 4 unit or something like that. And 1 fire for Megumin. And for spears I think the lowest that I have. 1 wind for Casualia, 1 earth for Accelerator, 1 lightning for Miru, 1 water for Leah, 1 fire for Fes, not for Fes, for Maid Leah, and another fire for Ainumiya when we use both. No, let's do others. First up, one other big thing that will change are plus level 7 for god weapons and for personal weapons. For god weapons, it's straight up. You just need 5 god slaps to make it from plus 6 to plus 7. If we look here from plus 6 to plus 7, it's like a 2% attack increase and a 7% like a 1% god shop increase. So god weapons actually benefit a lot from it. Stats wise, I don't have a screenshot of the plus 6, but it should be a little bit more damage as well. So for the god weapons, I think it's actually pretty good to get them. Let's just go through it so we can compare them all, or you guys can compare them with yourself. Here we have 2% more attack and 1% more normal damage. Here are the stats. For the healing rod, it's also pretty much 2-1, I guess. No, it's 1% more healing and 1% more gauge. Here are the stats. For Leviathan, it's here are the stats, and yeah, 2% more. So it seems like be 1 or 2% more in everything. Spear is there. Oh, okay, it's 3% more attack and 30 more healing every turn. And here are the stats. I don't going to show you all the personal weapons because, to be honest, the personal weapon buffs are marginal. As you can see here, there's just 1% increase, nothing in the normal damage department. Or the god trap, I don't know which one it is, but... And stats wise, it's also pretty much... It's not big of an increase if you compare them. Like, I think one of the biggest one was like the Vanir head, which was just like a 2%, not 2%, 2 magic attack increase. And like 1% here for everything, which is a nice bonus, but now they are not suddenly better than elemental weapons. So these are nice to have. You probably still unlock them because you want the stat bonus that you get from unlocking the last shrine. But normally you just don't use them. You just focus on elemental weapons. The only really good thing, as I said, are the god weapons. And I think here it's the same as always. Probably focus Chunchun first. And after that, probably just go with whatever element or weapon type you have the least elemental weapons. Like spear is a pretty good choice if you don't have a lot of elemental spears, or if fire spear is not there yet, because that's probably the weapon you use most. If you don't have that many mage rods, maybe Personal Leviathan. If you need more healing stuff, maybe this one. The dagger you can pretty much ignore, to be honest. Like, no unit wants it over elemental weapons. I think this is like the lowest priority for god weapons. Chunchun is the highest, and after that it's just choose probably one of these two, maybe the healing spear as well, but I think spear into rod into spear into staff into rod should be the right priority, I think. So let's go to the other big thing. I heard a lot of questions, the new earring types. And with that, I need to talk about one thing first. We will get permanent dungeons. And this is how permanent dungeon looks like. There will be 4 categories with 3 difficulties as normally, and you can have up to 7 attempts. Per day you get 1 bonus attempt, and then you can choose on which stage you want to use it. Same with normal dungeon. Once you complete it, then you can't just skip them, so it won't be much cool new content for a while, but this is actually hard content. Like, I struggle at that point as a whale to actually unlock them without like making proper teams and stuff like that, so it's a challenge, but it's doable. As you can also see, you can get more attempts. If I click here on max, I can use 400 quartz per day to get up to 4 bonus attempts to do stuff. And the big thing here, why you might want to do it, is the big crystals you can see on screen here. So there are 4 different element types that drop different crystals. For example, the first one drops fire and dark crystals because the enemies are fire and dark, so you probably want to use water and wind units. This one would drop water and light crystals. This will drop another dark and electro, and then we have here earth and wind on the bottom right as last. And these are the crystals that you need to make the new earrings. One big heads up, the drop rates are bad. Like, you probably have like a 50% chance, maybe even lower, to actually get a crystal per skip. And even then, you can't choose which of the 2 you get. So, worst case, you get 3 times dark and you never get the electro, even though you want the electro. That can happen in theory. It probably balances out over time, but keep that in mind. I personally only used Quartz a few times to get bonus attempt, mostly when I was like, oh, I need 1 more for the next level up, or I need 1 more to craft it and to have it, and I really need it for that arena now. That's the only point when I actually went and used a little bit of Quartz there. That's as a whale, speaking as a whale. I'm not that big of a hard whale, maybe. That's why I'm not doing it. I know JP Hardware is doing it a lot, but I haven't. And so this is my current collection of earrings. As you can see, there are 2 different types of earrings. We have the I don't know the official names, but if you translate them, they are Bangles and Brooches. The Bangles are these one, and the cool thing here about them is, if you look at this icon, it's elemental damage bonus, not resistance. You won't resist any elemental damage with these, you just will deal more elemental damage with them. Also, stats-wise, as you can see, they are split half-half in both physical and magical resistance. So there's no longer like, oh, you want to run these for physical bosses, or you want to run these for magical bosses. You just want to run them if you need the bonus damage. And in theory, you're like, oh yeah, for sure, you always run them, because more elemental damage bonus just means more damage, which should be more high scores, right? Wrong, actually. I think that's like one of the big mistakes I make on my account. These are probably better. First up, they give elemental resistance still. You can see the brick background behind the fire icon. But these also give gotcha. Plus 5% gotcha at like level 1 to 5. And at level 6, it will actually be 6% gotcha. Still same split with physical and magical resistance. But gotcha is so important that having that on an earring is insane. Trust me, it's really insane. It can make a difference between you getting your ulti off in time to keep the loops up and stuff like, even without your Moska, for example. Or like just getting the ulti in time ready, or last ulti in before you faint, or whatever. Like, gotcha can make such a difference, and ultis are so big in this game and so strong that it's actually most of the time better to have the gotcha. So the normal theoretical logic is, if you need the gotcha, you run a gotcha. If you don't need the gotcha, that's probably the point where you use the elemental damage earrings. So for example, I started this whole crafting of the damage up when we had one wind arena, where my Chris wasn't doing enough damage because it didn't have the wind damage up earring. So I crafted that, and then I could do the rotation, it could do the damage, because in that win team we had so much gotcha that you actually didn't need, or you could loop Triss ulti herself without any additional gotcha needed, so it was just a damage increase. But normally, right now, it is mostly the point where you run like 2 to 3 gotcha earrings on like every unit besides like your main DPS unit. So for example, current fire arena, we just used the fire bracelet on, I used an Iris because she's my highest damage unit. I used Chunchun here for a gotcha, and then I just pray she does as big damage as possible, and then I just have a gotcha in every other unit so they can just loop their ultis to hopefully buff my unit as long as possible. Or example, if you can run this on Chris, or you run this on Dust, for example, if you need to gotcha on Chris, or whatever. I think you get the point. Just probably use the damage one on your main unit if you don't need the gotcha on the main unit. Otherwise, you pretty much just use gotcha. So my recommendation is here, get gotcha first and then get elemental damage one. It can be wrong for 1 or 2 arenas, don't get me wrong. Sometimes the damage one might just be better and you said that you don't have it. But that's the point with how limited these resources are. As you can see, I don't even have like 2 of everything. I'm still missing so much. Like, I have 2 wind bracelets, and I think they are both already maxed, luckily for me. If you go to the smith here, yeah, these are the... Wait. Yeah, these are the ones I have already maxed here. And as you can see, most of them are maxed. The only thing I haven't maxed is the dark one, which is only at +5, which is kind of sad because I really want the +6 for the bonus gotcha. But even I still don't have like enough from everything. So these take a long time to get because you normally don't get them from events, these crystals. You just get them pretty much from dungeon or really special events. For example, with the Shield to Collab, I think we got a special free quest where they actually could drop. There are some special events with special currency where you can exchange like 3 crystals per element or something like that, which helps a lot, don't get me wrong, but like they are normally not even in bundles besides rare occasions, so you can't even buy them with real money. They are really hard to get, you need a lot of them, like in theory you want 3 gacha per element and 3 damage bonus per element, and it's wild how long it takes to get them. So as again, my personal recommendation is to go for the gacha earrings first, go for the damage one after, probably just like make 1 gacha earring per element and then make 1 damage per element, and after that you just keep them and look what you need, because normally only like 1 unit gets hard focused, and if you have to gacha with the right resistance on that unit, you're good to go. Otherwise you can just use off element gacha earrings, because it really doesn't matter, especially if you have a healer or something like that, and then you just probably want the damage up one for your main DPS. I hope this explains it good enough. I think this should be everything. Another thing that already happened that I talked about are the ulti buffs, and just a quick recap. Most ults that actually lowers physical or magical resistance or buff physical or magical attack now pretty much buff both. There are a few exceptions if the ulti has some cool side effects. For example, Aqua's ulti 2 still only applies physical resistance, or like Mitsurugi only applies physical attack buff because they also have the healing effect on the side and stuff like that. So there are a few exceptions where it's not like that, but there are a few units that actually benefit a lot from that. And I just want to give you a rundown about all the ulti 2s version 2s that should come. So we already have ulti 2s, for example Aqua's ulti 2, Sacred Water, you probably know that, and some units will get their ulti 2 version 2 this year. Not everyone, a few will get their stuff later. Not even every unit has their ulti 2 version 2 in the game. As you can see, like my Kazuma here, he doesn't have the 2 out of 2 DNA thing for a snipe version 2, so not everyone has it yet, but a few of them should come this year, and I just want to give you a quick rundown about all of these and what they do. So first one is Aqua, and her ulti 2 version 2 is pretty much the same as the normal ulti 2, but instead of lowering the physical resistance of the enemy, it's lowering the magical resistance. So not good. Really not good. Megumi will get her ulti 2, but probably not this year. So the next one should probably be Iris. Her ulti 2 is really good. So oh, that's wrong. I just explained it here. Sorry. Her ulti 2 is also the normal damage ulti, but it's a guaranteed crit, but also takes more gauge to use. But again, as I explained before, that's like really good with Fes Iris, for example, because you can just use her off element, get that one ulti off, get the guaranteed crit off, which is big damage. I even used that, as I said before, in a dark arena, because, you know, off element damage is resistant in the future. And so that's a really good tool to just make Iris more versatile and usable. Cecily ulti 2 version 2 is really good, because this will give her a tool to apply speed boost. So ulti 2 version 2 gives her and the whole team a tier 2 speed boost for I think 10 seconds at max level, which is really good. Tier 2 speed boosts are so good. You always want that if possible. It's really good. Yeah, I forgot anything. Let me just double check. Nope. Aris will also come in the future with Megumins. Mitsurugis will also come in the future. Dust will get a new ulti 2 version 2, but you don't use Dust. And the funny thing is, the moment we got Fast Dust, where we can actually use his ulti 2s, they buffed his ulti 2s and pretty much did what his ulti 1 currently does, plus what his ulti 2 version 1 currently does, and what his future ulti 2 version 2 will do, and just combine them together to make his new ulti 2 version 1, and just give him a completely different ulti 2 version 2. So I'm not even gonna talk about it because it's pretty much whatever. Ren has nothing. Leah is a guaranteed crit ulti, but needs more gauge. CDR is so much better. It's not worth it. I tried it a few times. It's never worth it. Cielo again is a tier 3 defense down instead of resistance. so not good for Cielo's personal damage, but good if you have actual other physical wind units and you don't need resistance, then you can use it. Again, that's probably the point when Festas drops, because he's... Yeah, I don't know. Maybe you can actually use it with like Kazuma and Chris or something like that, but I never used it before Festas, to be honest. So, yeah, Erika is nothing. Melissa is guaranteed crit, but more gotch. Again, this can be valuable in dark arenas where you actually maybe want to use her, but besides that, not too good. Amy's, I don't even know what it does. I never used it, to be honest. Kameiko's ulti 2 version 2 will be less damage, but it will actually slow the enemy, which can be useful, but you normally don't run Kameiko for ulti 2s. Especially right now in GP, her ulti 1s got actually buffed with a Halloween Kameiko release, which make her ulti 1s actually good. So you probably never run her ulti 2 anyway. And yeah, I think that should be all the units. Yeah, that should be it.